Welcome back to the FPL Banter podcast. Myself, Mopey. We have Souabers.
We.
And Woody.
Hello.
It's obviously 5 o'clock in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
So, this week could be a bit different because it's come to our attention that we're talking a lot of shite every week in the podcast and not really sticking to FPL enough. So this week could be different. It will be FPL galore. So, we'll start off with a cheeky recap of last game week specifically, which was 2 weeks ago, if you even remember it. So, Proud Daddy, do you want to take us through that?
Like you say, it feels like a lifetime ago because of these internationals, which just drag on in the middle of the bloody season. But I'd say a few of the highlights from last game week, because obviously there's some pretty dull, non-eventful games. I'll kick off with the Chelsea Sheffield United continued transformation under Super Goals Frank Lampard. But it was a cracking game. Chelsea were awesome, dominant. Werner answering his critics with a good goal, although he did.
Was he though?
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Was he though?
I suppose answering not maybe his critics, but the people who were thinking, I'm going to drop him because he never gets any points. At least he registered, got something on the board, and just it always takes the pressure off if you're forwarding your scoring.
Do you not think he's a bit of a Jesus character where everyone just kicks a ball at the box and then eventually one of them like hits his face and goes in, kind of thing?
And I think definitely more so this season as Chelsea's attacking potency gets more and more potent. That's going to happen a lot more.
Here's a little question for you: haven't they become more potent with Abraham as well up front? So hasn't it? He's changed the formation a little bit. No.
See here, this is you banging on about this 4-4-2. Like I think at times they looked like they were playing 4-4-2 because Werner's a striker and he kept drifting in. I think he wanted him to play wide left because he was doing more so later in the second half. I don't think they went to a two up front. I think it just looked that way.
All right.
In my opinion, but what do I know? So that's the other thing. On the other side of that match, Sheffield United still struggling. So
if you got McColdrick, keep hanging on to him.
or Bears.
Oh man, I don't think anyone has Sheffield United players. Let's be honest.
No, and unless you're getting Brewster because he's a cheeky 4.5 forward, I shouldn't bother.
He's injured.
And it's going to take, and he's injured as well.
You could say he's impotent.
He's impotent. He is impotent. And otherwise, other news from Chelsea. Thank goodness, Chilwell injured and uninjured during the international, so he's back playing Newcastle. So obviously, it's a good one to keep if you already got him. Zuma be another one. Azpilicueta and or Reece James, depending on who you think is going to start. But obviously, Havertz after COVID is now. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's
lost match fitness
apparently.
That's weird. 25% chance of playing. I reckon he will show up. But then again, Ziyech has been smashing it.
That's the other thing. The big thing out of that game was Ziyech. So everyone is absolutely fluffing his Johnson, how well he played. Commanded the game. Best thing they've seen since, I don't know, name a good Chelsea player. Frank Lampard? It's
definitely a train. He is no Frank Lampard.
It's definitely a train, and a lot of people are on it. And we'll probably talk a bit more about that later in our team.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Right, on to Crystal Palace. I'll take this one because my boy Zaha was playing. It was a 4-1, all over it. They killed Leeds. But disappointingly, Zaha only got an assist. Now, I personally think he could have done a lot more, but it was definitely promising. There was a bit of Ayew, there's a bit of Dan, there's a bit of Eze. Anyone ever heard of Eze?
What do you reckon about Eze? Is he going to be starting now?
He looked incredible, but this might be like a one-hit wonder. It might be
seriously
the horn of FPL. You know,
I'm seriously considering
him.
I'm seriously considering him for my draft because he wouldn't be a bad way into the old Crystal Palace attack to a certain extent. You're not going to go,
which is weird because last season and even the first 6 game weeks of this season, Crystal Palace didn't have an attack. So the fact that they've now got options, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So to be honest, I bang on about this every week, but I like Crystal Palace. They're looking good, and they're playing Burnley. I know a lot of people think Burnley are sort of this defensive rock, but I actually think this season is a bit different. So I'm still sticking with a bit of Crystal Palace. So anyway, we'll come back to that. Alex.
Yeah. So Man U are back in it, lads. Here we go.
Back.
Here we go.
Back, Man U for champs.
Ole
All the way at the top. All the way at the top.
Fernandez obviously getting on the scoreboard, and cheeky Cavani. I was livid because I have Rashford in my team, and I don't know if you remember the attack, but there was Fernandez down the middle, rolling the ball towards the goals, and on his left there was Cavani, on his right there was Rashford. Passed it to Cavani.
Yeah, and Rashford's hair just missed the ball, so he couldn't claim Fernandez's second goal either.
So he just got an assist for that, which I don't really get either, to be honest.
And he could have got. Oh no, Rashford got an assist for a different goal.
Oh, was it? Oh God.
Rashford got an assist for.
He actually he crossed it to Fernandez, and Fernandez scored a header, which I didn't think he was capable of, but apparently.
Yeah.
No, that was Luke Shaw. What are you talking about? That was Shaw's. That was the first goal.
True.
It must have been Fernandez's. Maybe he laid it to Fernandez before Fernandez shot. Maybe that was it.
I was actually impressed that Fernandez scored 2 goals that weren't penalties, so that kind of increased his
value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about him in our team of the week anyway, because you'd be a numpty if you didn't.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. I mean, apart from that, Cavani getting on the board. I don't think there was too much to say about that. Again, we'll go into Telles replacing Shaw, if that's going to happen or not, a little bit later.
There's another feature of last week, which actually leads into a bit of discussion about a couple of teams coming up, was the number of missed penalties.
Oh God, penalties. Here we go.
I think statistically speaking, with more penalties, there'll be more missed penalties. Do you know what I mean?
So it's that's true. Surprising. Very good, Eric.
But it's not surprising, is what I'm saying.
All right, go on. Tell us, Woody. Tell us what could have happened.
The nature of them. No, I'm not going to go into all that. No, I'm not going to go into all that. No. All I'll say is, Lookman, he absolutely porked it. But I actually think that might increase his chances of taking the next one to, put the demons to bed. And if not, he's still a threat going forward. And,
a little side note here. I think everyone in their mini league, everyone has a friend that goes, hey, if this would have happened, I would have had X amount of points. Well, our one is Woody. So
yeah. I think I was. If all the penalties went in, I'd have got about 50 more points or something crazy like that.
50.
Anyway,
50.
Yeah, 50. Triple captain, KDB. That's what it is, right? That leading nicely into KDB and the City Liverpool game, which was close, tense game, pretty good. Both teams looking good going forward. They obviously ran out a bit of steam towards the end. I mean, Aguero's still out, right? So KDB's still on penos for now, one would imagine. So I think he's still worth going, keeping if you've got him. And other than Aguero, I think City are pretty much back to full strength. So even though they've got a tricky game against Spurs, I think it's stick with your City guys, or even invest in one. I know Cancelo's on the march in terms of people purchasing him. I mean, that's a bit bold. I mean, definitely
let's not beat around the bush. It was a bit of a tepid kind of performance from both sides. I mean, if the BPS system, as in the bonus point system, the maximum is 24, which is Jesus. If he gets, I mean, you can tell that that's pretty average game that we watched.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, Zaha gets 70 plus in some games.
I mean, in terms of FPL, I guess, but to watch it, it was a good game. The first half was very open end-to-end stuff.
I do have a question about KDB. His ginger goatee.
Oh God, get out!
just leave it. Yeah, it's not
slightly pedo-y in my eyes.
It's a choice, and he's going with it. I don't see the problem.
What's worse, his Sterling's haircut or KDB's goatee?
Yeah. There's a lot of questionable lids going around at the moment. But finishing off that game as well, obviously brings into the Liverpool situation for this week, which is not looking good.
No, Liverpool have lost basically their whole backbone. No VVD, no Gomez, and because of Salah's kissy wedding, no Salah.
Yeah, no Salah, no Trent. I forgot Trent.
So Trent. Alex, you might want to Trent. Alex, you might want to give a just for anyone who might not know about Arabic weddings. You who has actually been to a few, do you want to talk us through what the main procedure is?
Well, there's a lot of kissing involved, as you think as you would guess as much. It's over a few days as well. I'm not. I I love how I'm put on the spot for Arabic weddings, right? Because I am soon to get married to a Syrian princess, but that has got another. But
So we're all looking forward to a COVID surge.
Does
after
that
the
make
wedding.
you a
definitely.
prince?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I guess it does.
No,
But-
because in the English royalty, marrying a prince or princess doesn't make you a prince.
In Arab royalty, anyone can be a princess. Anyone can be a sheikh.
Really? Oh, so you'll be a sheikh.
You
Okay.
just buy them.
Shifting it
This is
up.
bought, isn't it?
So Sheikh
Yeah, no.
Souabers next week.
Yeah, so COVID.
But anyway,
Central-
back to the point. How do we feel about Liverpool assets this week against Leicester?
It has to be Jota. I mean, who's paying 12 for Mane?
I am. I've had him because I've been on the Mane train for ages, so I'm sticking to it.
Everyone's, we were talking about before about everyone having someone like that in their mini league. Well, you're the smug Mane bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're going around to Liverpool soon.
Okay, so how about a little bit of midweek international? We're not going to dwell on this because nobody like international games, but things have come out of them.
Nobody.
So injuries, COVID, and so on. So, Prad Daddy, you want to take us through that? Just a quick recap.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, there's kind of a lot happened, but not a lot happened at the same time. In terms of the main things for an individual performance consistent over the whole international break is just the Grealish bubble keeps rising. He's just going from strength to strength. So it's definitely one to consider if you haven't already. But if you haven't already, then you're an idiot because he's obviously doing well. Other than that, as you
I
just
think
touched
England.
on,
Do you feel that England were a bit unlucky not to get a little bit more out of the Belgium game? I feel that they should have, gotten a few points on the boards. Really.
Well, yeah. I mean, they just let themselves down again with questionable defending. So, but once you're 2-0 down, everybody's like, "Oh, but the second half they had so much possession and domination." Well, yeah, because Belgium were just sitting back and defending their lead, so you're gonna. And then we couldn't break them down. So I was less excited than other people. But
I mean,
Also, we raised this as well in our group chat. How is Martinez now? I know he's been the manager of Belgium for ages, but I think it'd be. How has he gone from Wigan to Belgium?
Well, it's no different to United talking about getting Pochettino, a guy who's won absolutely nothing.
I think there's a tiny little bit of difference. There is.
Well, at least Martinez won the FA Cup.
Did he not go somewhere between Wigan and Belgium?
I think he must have done. Anyway, but that's
He must have
besides the
done.
point. But Grealish, as discussed, Grealish is another level when it came to that team.
Yeah. And then the other thing that just came out of it was just the injuries that came and went and the COVID cases. Like Sterling didn't play because he was injured, but
Rashi didn't
then he
play
was
either,
fine.
which is good.
Rashi and then Chilwell and Robbo both were injured and they're not injured. So it's basically you've just got to really check up on the injury status and the COVID status, which unfortunately is probably not going to really be highlighted until after the press conferences tomorrow and Saturday.
Yeah, so that's
So
a
it's
good
a little
point.
bit.
Yeah.
Woody, as you were saying, obviously we're going to talk about what we think for this week, but this is all dependent on a lot of things. So be sure to check tomorrow, Friday, press conferences.
Yeah.
Find out that we're
Particularly
wrong about
COVID.
everything. Yeah.
Like clubs like Arsenal, that's rife. There's 2 cases.
Well, there's been
underneath
16
Kolasinac.
cases in the Premier League, and I think only 5 have been confirmed by the actual players. So there's sort
Right.
of 11 bouncing around that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do they do
So-
that? Why? That doesn't.
Well,
make
because
sense
it's
to
not
me.
necessarily players. I think it could be coaches and things like that.
Staff, backroom staff.
And I don't think if, like, I don't know, the Fulham goalkeeper coach had COVID, I don't think you'd want to necessarily know about it or care.
Well, you might because COVID spreads. It's the nature of it. It's a virus.
Yeah,
It's a virus.
So yeah, just a quick recap on who actually has COVID. So Salah, obviously,
Yeah.
Doherty. We have a bit of El Neni, Kolasinac, and
Did Tellez get another one?
No, so Tellez. So this is what I've understood because I did a little bit of reading this morning. Tellez
All right.
obviously
Go on.
had it a few weeks ago already, so he's already had COVID. Now he did a test because it was rife in the Brazil camp, right? Everyone was getting it left, right, and Chelsea in the Brazil camp, so he had to do a test. It came back positive, but then apparently the Man U staff are like, "Nah, it's all right. He's already had it, so it's fine." I think he's already had it, so it's just a mistake. So it's fine. Well, that's
okay,
when he
those
comes
are the
in.
exact
Carrier.
words, yeah.
Yeah, It's all right.
But that's the thing as well, right? Like you said, it was rife in the Brazil camp. So you've got Thiago Silva, Firmino,
You got
Jesus.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, we could have a
Is
little
it
bit.
is it Jesus or is it Jesus? Like Jota?
It's Jesus.
Jesus,
It's Portuguese.
yeah.
Anyway, so
I know. I was just busting chops.
Well, anyway, so just a quick thing there. The other thing is Salah has COVID. He's done his second test. It's come back positive. Now, I can't seem to get an answer anywhere. All my research is I don't know if it's from the second test. Does he have to isolate for 10 days? Or next week he does another test, let's say on Wednesday or Thursday, comes back negative and he can play next game week. That's the question. If anyone knows the answer, please get in touch.
BBC are saying that he'll definitely be missing this game week and then the game.
No, they said the next 2 weeks. 2 games, which makes sense because it's the next Champions League.
Atalanta.
But they haven't said about the next 2 game weeks, obviously, because I think he'll get tested again, and if it comes back
positive, if it comes back positive, he's screwed. If it comes
but if it comes back negative, then does he still have to isolate for the full 10 days? That's my question.
Yeah, how many negatives do you need in a row to be?
Yeah,
is it, you know what I mean?
It is a weird
it's
one.
A good question. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's
also
something to keep an eye on, isn't it?
So Kilman has had some pretty bad news at home, some personal reasons, and so as a result, we don't know if he'll actually start or if Saiss is back. So anyone who's kept Saiss, like myself, could be hoping for a Saiss cleanie or even a goal.
Yeah, you are a bit fascinated by that, the Kilman, Saiss, Eight Nuri triangle, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Eight Nuri's injured, so this is a very interesting time for me.
He's yellow. Yellow doesn't mean anything this season, I don't think.
Yeah, yellow's the new green. We talked about this. True. Is red the new yellow, though?
I think so.
We need a new color.
Well, because Havertz is kind of amber right now, and I reckon he will play. To be honest.
Yeah, and strangely, if anyone has Aguero's red, and it says like he's broken his leg and he's died in a car crash and all this, but it says expected back 21st November, which is in 2 days. So
same as Timothy Castagna. It's like red.
I'm so glad you said Timothy.
Hamstring.
I'm so glad you said Timothy.
It's not the other Castagna.
Yeah, exactly.
It could get confusing.
Which also brings us back to why everyone calls him Solly March and not just March.
Solly March, not just March.
And his full name is Solomon March, which is even more
Solly March.
Has he actually agreed to be called Solly?
We're forcing it upon him.
Sergi Aguero. That's what I'm going to call him.
Right, remember it was Sergi Kun Aguero when he first died?
Well, it's still he still goes with what is the Kun thing about?
It's okay. I don't know if you know about Aguero. I've done a bit of reading on this. He has a tattoo of his own name and nickname, Kun, in the Woody, you'll be able to tell me what this is called, the language of the Lord of the Rings, on his forearm.
Well, depends which.
I don't know, Elvish or something like that. Yeah. Come on, don't even. You know it.
Well, there's several. It's Dwarfish. There's the language of Mordor, which should not be spoken here.
God.
Okay, I really think we're getting off point. But anyway, so back to what we were saying. Injuries and COVID. Something else to mention is the good news. Chilwell, he's back, baby. Robbo, for any Robbo owners, he looks like he's good to go. And Van Aanholt, he's also back.
Well, he was back last week and he hasn't gone out. But tell us about your little Crystal Palace quandary as well, Eric.
Okay, so if anyone has Zaha, and I think people do because I've checked the stats, basically he's on Penos, especially, and it's been boosted by the fact that Milivojevic was red carded and he's out for basically forever. So I'm thinking Zaha on penalties, great. But then Van Aanholt comes back and he's very good in set pieces and he was taking penalties back in the day. So I don't know who's on penalties anymore. Who knows? So that's something to consider.
Would you back a bit of Van Aanholt? I mean, obviously because he was injured, no one's really got him. And do you think
he looks good?
He does.
Want to get on the train early?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good, and I think personally, I think Dean is overpriced for the return we're getting. So I would say Van Aanholt to Dean would be legit, but
I mean, and also definitely with like people like TAA and stuff. If you like your attacking defenders, which I do, while he's out, maybe just drop in a bit of PVA.
I really don't think there's anything wrong with Van Aanholt, and he's Dutch. The Dutch are always pretty good.
Oh, don't say that. Tal's going to be like, oh yeah, we are. Our friend Tal
sure.
is Dutch. He's going to be all up. He's livid by the fact that Van der Beek doesn't ever start.
Is he though? Because
we all
I
are,
once
though.
met a Dutch girl with Tal, and then she spoke to him in Dutch, and she was like, "So where are you from, really? Because your accent doesn't sound Dutch at all." Livid. He was
Okay, wow.
fuming.
Owned. Absolutely owned.
Ended that man's entire career.
Where is he from?
Yeah. So
Never just
anyway,
Belgium.
Van Aanholt at 5.4. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, no, it's honestly, say Tal and I had a good discussion about this on the week where Van Aanholt was sort of coming back, and then Mitchell was injured, so obviously he was playing. And blah, blah, blah. But yeah, in the long run, I think Van Aanholt's not a bad shout.
So, well, yeah, I was going to raise the fact that people need to get rid of Salah. They could do if they want, but who would they switch him for? But I guess we're going to talk about that in our game week setup, right?
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we can talk about it now if you want. Just put the game week
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so
then we'll have some discussions about discuss the team as well as just the team.
Yeah.
And why we've gone certain ways.
We've had a little bit of a thought, which was discussing the best head-to-head players of the most transferred in players this week. So similar budget and similar position. And who wants to kick us off? So we started off with Bamford and Watkins. So if you had to get one of them, who would you get?
Okay, well, I'll take that one. Yeah, it's like as you said, they're on the list of most transferred in for reasons of form and stuff. I, as a Woodson owner, concerned about his injury and the fixtures coming up, I suppose, and I went for Watkins. So for me personally, in that battle, Bamford versus Watkins is Watkins mainly because the way Aston Villa have been playing going forward, it's been incredible. Really, it's been top 6 level between Grealish and Barkley, with McGinn behind him, and Trezeguet and Traore, another Traore when he was fit, all the Traores. And Watkins, he's fine in the back of the net.
Is he consistent? Do you reckon? Because I mean, look, if you look at his points, it's 19, 2, 2, 7, 13.
Yeah, but he's nailed, and he's playing in front of Barkley, Grealish, and they're all like, I do like the look of him. To be fair.
And there's an element of finding your form in a new team, and he's, to me, when you look at the way he plays, he's getting into that rhythm. Whereas Bamford's been at Leeds forever, so he knows the way they play, and then he's got Arsenal, Everton, and Chelsea. Now, Arsenal and Everton are a little bit leaky, but you compare that to Aston Villa, who have got Brighton, West Ham, and Newcastle. I mean, that's almost all one-way traffic throughout all those games. And the thing about Watkins as well is he's played 90 minutes of every game this season so far. Like, he's fit, he's raring to go. Now, don't get me wrong, Bamford is still a good shout, and he's a bit cheaper still, I think, isn't he? I know they're the same now. They've actually caught up to each other.
Yeah, they're the same. But the good thing is Watkins is selected by less people, so he is differentiated. Whilst Bamford's 35%. Yeah,
exactly. That was what I was going to say. Is that not everyone, 1/3 of people are on the Bamford train.
It's true.
So you want to get a bit differentially. Brighton at home the next week. I don't know. So
but
for me,
do you have to have
Watkins?
I mean, again, we're going back on this. We've discussed this a few times before. But do you need to have Grealish and Watkins? Do you need to have a double barrel?
I think that's the question. In Woody's case, he doesn't have Grealish, but I think for the most part, and that's the appeal with Bamford, is most people don't have any of these players except Bamford. Yeah. Whereas, the majority of people have Grealish, and therefore you're doubling up. So I think that's where the Bamford appeal comes in.
Yes, if you have Grealish, then I'd say it's maybe putting your eggs in one basket to get Watkins as well.
I mean, who wouldn't have Grealish though? What kind of muppet? What kind of muppet would not have Grealish?
This guy. Well, just you wait. Next week, if Trent is out still, it might be a Trent out, Grealish in, double transfer. Just you watch.
Heard it here first, mate.
Okay. Our next head-to-head, which I'll take, will be Ziyech. No, sorry, that'll be you, Alex. It will be Vardy against Werner. Okay, so we got 2 strikers, similar budget. Vardy is about $1 million more, and so really the question is, going forward, let's say the next 5 game weeks, who's better to have? Now, I'm not taking away from Werner. He has been doing well recently. We've already discussed his style, which is the ball hits him and goes in. But
hits him in the face. I think you said hits him in the face.
Specifically the face. Now, this my opinion only. I think both will do well in some ways, but I think that Vardy will will basically take it in the end because
What?
he is experienced in the Premier League. You know, he's been looking very good, and his fixtures are just ridiculously good. Even this weekend against Liverpool, who basically have no defense. Vardy likes scoring against the big teams, and now we're talking about a big team that's massively reduced. After that, he's got Fulham, Sheffield United, Brighton, Everton. So I like to look at Vardy, and actually, Vardy does count as a bit of a differential. Surprisingly, he's not one of the most owned strikers. 21.9%. So I really do think that Vardy has a lot going for him. Now, on the other hand, Werner is playing in a fantastic team with CH behind him and so on. So, and he's on penalties now, it would appear. But his fixtures may be a little bit more tough. So Newcastle away, never particularly been an easy fixture. And Woody, you'll be happy to know, I think I read some statistic, like in the past 7 games, Newcastle have beaten Chelsea 6 times at home. So you can confirm that one. Yeah, but I think Newcastle away is typically the challenging fixture, and then Tottenham at home, and then Leeds at home. So if I had to pick between Vardy and Werner, I'd be on the Vardy train, but there's nothing wrong with the Werner train, as everyone knows right now. So it's a tough one. Yeah.
But also just with, as you're saying, with the fixtures and the form and stuff, like Leicester assets in general, it's not a bad time to get on the train if you're thinking Barnes or Castagna or Justin, if you've still got Justin.
I think they're in the mentality now they're going to win the league, and I don't blame them.
Who, Leicester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, honestly, look at the table. They've done it before.
Wow.
And it's not like City are going to do anything this season.
That out.
Oh, yeah. No, City.
According to Wits. Yeah. Oh, we've had so many injuries.
It's okay. We're 11th, but don't worry. We'll come back into it.
All right. Well, Manchester United, speaking of Fernandes, I'm not doing so well either. So, I mean, speaking of Manchester United, Fernandes and Ziyech is the ones I'll be talking about now. So they're top of the table right now when it comes to transfers in for this round. Fernandes, Ziyech, again, well, there's a bit of a price difference there between them. These kind of fit in with regards to getting rid of Salah for 1 week. If you want to, these kind of fit in nicely. I would side towards Fernandes because they're playing West Brom, even though West Brom put up a tough fight against Spurs and were a bit unlucky to go away from that without anything. Fernandes is always getting involved at the moment. And I mean, as Eric mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, he's scored a header, which I don't think he even recognized that he could do because he was pointing at his head once he scored it.
That's how it works.
Ziyech again, but for me, look, I don't know. I'm open to, because I know a lot of people in our group, including Wits and Tal, who jump. Well, Wits is very careful about jumping on trains. Tal, he is a whore when it comes to jumping on the next one.
I mean, you could not have
said that better. He has an open-ended ticket.
Oh, he just jumps on any old train. Whatever.
There's a train, he's on it. Yeah. Disgusting.
It's not
shameful.
Moving, he's just on it.
But Ziyech, personally, for my team, I'm going to give him maybe 1 or 2 more game weeks, especially if Havertz just is more and more on the sidelines, then I would seriously consider getting Ziyech. But I'm still going to give him a couple, maybe 1 game week, see how he does this game week. But Fernandes is kind of, we've seen since Project Restart, I hate that name, that he's been consistent, number 1 with penalties and his little bunny hop before shooting them, and just scoring goals, getting involved, and he's just a good player. So I would personally, out of those 2, go Fernandes if I were to do a Salah switch, which I don't have to because I got Mane. Did I mention that I have Mane? Did I?
Yeah, you did. But how about we take just slightly less than 6 minutes to talk about our team?
All right. So on to our game week team, the typical team, which is in a 100 mil budget, and you can get it on a wild card. So we'll start with defense. I feel like I've had mid and forwards, so I'll take the defense this week if you like.
I thought you wanted to do midfields, no?
I can. What would you rather?
I'll do defense.
Okay, fine.
I'll do defense.
All right.
I don't mind.
All right, go for it then.
Whatever. All right. Martinez in goal. Playing Brighton at home. I mean, Martinez has been playing well anyway, and Brighton are just not potent. They're impotent in front of goal.
Eric hates Martinez for some reason, or he just doesn't think he's a good goalkeeper.
Why. Because he used to play for Arsenal. I'm not sure, but anyway.
No. I think since he's left Arsenal, I now rate him because he's no longer an Arsenal defender.
But anyway, I think any Villa defenders against Brighton, I think is a good bet. We've got Cresswell, who is dangerous going forward, and playing Sheffield United, who are pretty impotent as well. And then Chilwell and Digne. I mean, they're both great going forward. But we've got three left backs basically who are playing Sheffield United, Newcastle, and Fulham. So they're all good fixtures. They're all good attacking forwards. Probably danger of cleanies and assists going forward. And then we've got Konsa and Casey to fill out the bench. Just cheap, and Konsa's if he's going to play, probably will play, and it's a good chance of a cleanie. And that's our 5 defenders.
Right. So our 4 mids are Fernandes playing West Brom at home, no brainer. Grealish, well, no introduction needed. So we've gone Ziyech. Obviously, it's the train and we're on it. And playing Newcastle away. He looked fantastic last game week, so it's the Ziyech party for us. And then for our 4th playing midfielder is Jota. Now, Jota played even with Salah on the pitch last week, so we've got high hopes for him. And we feel like, Klopp will be gone, you're the new Salah, mate. You need to get out there and score goals and so on. So with that in mind, Jota's on the pitch. And then we have Bissouma, who's warming the bench. So those would be our 4 mids.
Yeah, and then up front, obviously, as you can guess, we've done 3-4-3. Up front, we have DCL, Fulham, no brainer. We got Kane against City. So Woody wanted to get rid of Kane, but I don't know why. And then we got Vardy against Liverpool. And again, as we've,
I just think there's better fixtures out there than playing Man City. But what do I know?
Well, not much, clearly, because Man City are 10th in the league and they're leaky. Sorry, Woods.
So yeah, and then Vardy against Liverpool again, as we've discussed before. The attacking power of Leicester can barge through any defense that Liverpool kind of put together.
Yeah, and just on that, I was saying Leicester are kind of looking like they want to win the league. Well, I think Spurs are the same. Yeah. I think Spurs actually rate themselves this season. And Woody, Spurs in the last 5 game weeks have won 4 and drawn 1, which is really not bad.
Hey, look, I'm not saying Spurs aren't good. I'm not saying Kane's not good. Kane is an exceptional footballer. He's not just a good striker. Like he is next level.
Relax, man.
He's fantastic. But I just think that there's better fixtures.
That was a great Schwarzenegger impression. I like your Schwarzenegger.
My Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Fantastic.
We are really going away from FPL. But
we just need to discuss quickly before we run out of time. Captain, I've selected Fernandes already ahead of time. I've put Fernandes in. What do you guys think?
I would think Fernandes. Like in my personal team, I would pick Fernandes if I hadn't made some stupid personal rule that I was going to play KDB as captain every game. So I would go Fernandes.
Okay, I will also go Fernandes. However, because a triple Fernandes is not interesting, I'm going to just throw 2 punts out there that I think are worth considering. Grealish and Vardy, both for different reasons. But I think as captains, if you're thinking of climbing your league and you need some differential, that's what you got to do.
I think Grealish is a great differential captain because not many people will be courageous enough to do it with the fixtures this week.
Which is weird because statistically it makes total sense.
Yeah, but he played both internationals, didn't he?
True.
Yeah,
right,
the last 2.
He played the last 2. Yeah.
So anyway, that concludes our podcast for the week. So I hope you like it. It's a bit longer this week just because we didn't do one last week, but we'll be back at you on Wednesday or Thursday next week, probably Thursday, and to give you the latest COVID updates and to let you know if Salah's back or not. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Ta-ta.